Hello everybody, welcome to Planet SkyFF, the world where everything revolves around £50,000. My name's Suj.
And my name is James.
£50,000. Sky.
Good start, Suj.
Sky.
Is it not
I
happening?
scored 82 points. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's bad.
Okay.
And I scored the same.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're both in the shitter this week.
Yeah. I ended up obviously having Salah captain on the Sunday, which was fine.
How did you still only get that?
52 points of Salah. And I had Havertz on the...
You got 30 points for the rest of your players?
Yes.
Wow.
Sanchez...
Yeah.
2 points.
Yeah.
Ruben Diaz.
Yeah.
2 points.
Yeah.
Ben White as captain.
Oh,
2
yeah.
points. Rudiger, 7 points.
Boom.
Markel, no show.
Yeah.
Rafinha, 2 points.
Yeah.
Warnock. Sorry. What was it?
Warnock? What game are you playing?
Saint Maximin.
And in what year?
Saint Maximin.
Hang on, where are you getting Warnock
I'm
from?
just looking at all my players. I looked at... I don't even know. Saint Maximin.
Yeah.
2 points.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz as captain.
Oh, God, yeah.
2 points. Yeah. James Ward-Prowse as suspended.
Yeah.
0 points.
Yeah, well, at least he's come back now.
Antonio 7, Salah 52. So 3 returnees, which is Rudiger, Antonio, and then Mo Salah.
What in the world made you buy Kai Havertz?
All or nothing.
Yeah, I bought him too.
All or nothing. I mean, look, again, it was the right move, yeah?
No, I wasn't as convinced, and I did buy Kai Havertz. I wasn't as convinced of it as the solution for Sky as I was for FPL. Like an FPL, zero regret. In Sky, I knew that it was against my principal idea of wanting players who can hit tiers and stuff. But obviously the thinking was, look, if he bags a couple here, he'll hit a shot tier and stuff as well, and it will give me a little jump and there won't be many people on it. I'd said to you last week, I think on the Patreon pod we did on Friday, I said, look, if he goes off big, it's not going to hurt that bad. That says 16% of the top 1,000 did go and buy him, so we weren't sitting there alone. So obviously didn't pay off. That was replacement for Lukaku, which kind of obviously fucked up the plan somewhat. The fact that I'd gone to Lukaku, or the original plan was obviously to go to Lukaku this Saturday. Then there was other injuries that it was Ronaldo getting left out against Everton meant I went earlier. I mean, admittedly, not that Ronaldo's done anything in between, so it's not mattered, but it would have been another transfer saved in the bank. And I guess it meant I didn't go to the Arsenal players, which I covered off all right, really, because I had Gallagher the Monday and I had Emi Martinez the Friday. So, all right, it's not matched Aubameyang, but it's beat like Ben White and stuff, hasn't it? Right?
Ben White's now a waste man, and obviously he's now got a flag. I think he's
okay. It's just illness. He was taken off last night because he wasn't feeling very well, apparently. So there's no major issue there. I don't think you're expecting anything away to Leicester this weekend, particularly anyway. Yes, I bought Kai Havertz on Saturday for Romelu Lukaku after spending an absurd amount of time Friday night reworking a plan, longer term, only for Rafinha to get injured on Saturday and for me to spend an absurd amount of time on Saturday evening reworking a plan again. I spoke last week about the kind of December Ronaldo and Salah 3-for-1s. You'd miss Salah against Villa and you'd miss Ronaldo against Brighton, but if you paired it with Kane as well, you'd cover everything bar 2 games all throughout December and the first set of games in January and stuff. But I reworked a plan to the extent that will get me towards having Ronaldo, Salah and Kane on Saturday evening, with the idea of going Salah to Bruno Fernandes before Liverpool play Chelsea, which should be the last game before the African Cup of Nations happen. The African Cup of Nations that now may not be taking place because Cameroon have got infrastructure problems. Now, it doesn't mean that it won't get moved to another country. But it's a possibility now that it might not even happen. And I keep thinking, why am I working so hard with these long-term plans? However, I obviously had a big decision to make about Rafinha. And it looks like he's probably going to be okay for the Sunday fixture against Norwich. So you can look at it, and I bought Mbomo for Rafinha on Sunday. My take on it was my experience of Leeds players that if they miss a week, it can very quickly become 2 weeks with them because of Bielsa's insistence that players are kind of at maximum fitness potential. And I thought, you know what, if he's going to miss Norwich, I'm getting 3 fixtures from Mbeumo straight away anyway. It fixed a longer term captaincy problem with Brentford Watford. Not that that's particularly in my thinking at the moment, but it does open up the money. It opened up the exact same amount of money that I was planning to do in a couple of weeks, which was Emi Martinez, to David Raya. I take it you've seen the David Raya news.
David Raya's out for a while.
4 to 5 months.
Cruciate ligament, posterior cruciate ligament.
I don't know the injury, but it's 4 to 5 months.
It's fucked.
Bad. So, in a roundabouts way, although going Mbeumo for Rafinha is regrettable, it opened up the same amount of money that Martinez to David Raya would have opened up, which allows me, when Tottenham play Leeds after the next international break, to go directly from Mikel Antonio to Harry Kane with 3.2 million in the bank. It's had the same net result for me. Now, part of the restructured plan I had on Saturday was still to make the Martinez to Raya move as well to open up money. And I'm fascinated to see what the price of Brentford's second choice goalkeeper is going to be. You've got reception here, haven't you?
Yeah.
You'll have to check FPL to see what his name is. I've forgotten. But I know I haven't spoken to, but I know our Brentford correspondent, Tom Med, FPL Dummy Tom on Twitter. You're not going to find his price there, mate.
Oh, he's not even listed in the game.
I just want to know what his name was. Go to FPL. I've forgotten his name.
I was wondering, why are you saying I need to go to FPL?
Is it Aurelio Fernandez or something? I can't remember his fucking name.
Okay.
But he actually played... Do you remember when Spain had, prior to the Euros, they had to send like a load of players who weren't part of the squad?
Yeah.
Well, he played for Spain.
COVID and whatever else.
He played for Spain. And I'm pretty sure he's played in the Carabao. Presumably he will tonight for Brentford at Stoke as well. Tom thinks he's all right. So,
Alvaro Fernandez.
Oh, it's close. Alvaro, him.
In FPL, he's still 4.5, so he's no cheaper than David Raya. This
is what's interesting to kind of follow, because David Raya, I think, has stood out as, if you want... I mean, there's so many people on Mendy and stuff at the moment. I get that. I'm not saying you move. But in terms of trying to find the cheap enabler one, Raya has obviously been standing out at 6.3, dirt cheap. I'm interested to see what price this fellow will come in at, with obviously no ownership, of course, because he's not in the game.
5.96.
To be honest, historically, I think FPL would go, like, if he'd not been in FPL, they'd do the same and go 4.5. They're not going to place him at 5 or 4. I don't know how Sky will treat it.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure. So I'm interested to see what price he comes in at, because actually, even at the same price, 6.3 or 6.2, I'd still be interested in that move in a couple of weeks. I say a couple of weeks, actually next week, after Emi Martinez plays Southampton. So I'm not sure I want to be holding Martinez longer term. I think that's either up to Mendy or come right down one way or the other. So I need to give that some thought. I'm interested to see what price this fella's going to be. I don't think we should rule him out.
No. I'm ended up in a situation with probably only 2% of your time on planning, where I really hate my team. And
can I tell you, judging by my weekend, that's a lot less than 2%.
You're probably right. I was trying to be generous here with the amount of time that I'd spent on it more than anything else.
He's 30 seconds. Suj, captain reminder.
Yeah. James always tweets me, WhatsApps me, sorry, not tweets me, WhatsApps me, Sky reminder, like just after the teams have been announced always. Probably got it as a scheduled message, and it always just says 2 words, Sky reminder, and I really appreciate it.
On
Apart from
Saturday, I said
Saturday was big
Sky reminder.
Big in capital letters,
which was basically saying, check the fucking Chelsea team, mate. Yeah.
Exactly that. Although I didn't own Azpilicueta or anyone else that was missing. But I've ended up in a situation where I do not like my team. And the reason I do not like my team is because I've made moves to cover captaincies that's ended up with players that I just don't like and are dog shite. Ben White is a first.
Yep.
And it kept him around lingering because of the 2 captaincies that we've just had from Monday and Friday. Well, he got me 8 points across it all.
Yep.
That was a waste. Marcel has been loitering for this Monday night game that's about to come.
And he's flagged. We think he's going to be okay, right, but he's an injury-prone bastard anyway.
So he's not a long-term solution for me. Ward-Prowse I bought thinking he'd cover me off the Southampton game. Southampton-Everton, isn't it?
Southampton-Villa. Well, he still does. He's back this weekend.
Yeah, he does. But I've still had 2 weeks of fuck all because he's been suspended.
Yeah, but you made that choice, didn't you? Which is fine, by the way.
I went Saint-Maximin over Gallagher. And the reason I went Saint-Maximin over Gallagher is because I didn't need Gallagher to cover me the Arsenal game because I had Ben White. I don't really want St. Maximin loitering around right now either. And I've got Rafinha flagged. And Kai Havertz is cool, but he is short-termism. Couple more games and that's it. He's on his way out. Sanchez in goal, all right, fine. It's probably, he's neutral. So if I had neutral, hate, he's neutral. Diaz, Rudiger, Salah and Antonio, fine. All the rest, 6 players, couldn't care less about.
Who's your keeper?
Sanchez.
Okay.
He's the one I'm neutral about.
Yeah.
Diaz, Rudiger, Salah, Antonio, fine. No problem with owning these guys in Sky. All the rest, Ben White, Markow, Rafinha, Ward-Prowse, St. Maximin, Havertz, short-termism, captaincy coverage-ism, and it's dog. It means my team's doing crap. I'm 10,900 rank overall, which is rubbish.
I want to kill myself at like 3.5 or wherever I am.
And I mean, I've got 35 transfers, right? So I've got the transfers to cycle out. But over the next 2 to 3 weeks, I need to make some.
How many transfers you used?
5.
I've now used 6.
I need to be looking at figuring out my problems.
The problem is,
I need to rank these problems in order of priority, basically, and then who's getting bombed out when to help me improve my team. And I think Markow will go after Monday. Ward-Prowse will go after the Southampton Villa game. Rafinha, I think Ben White. I think I'll move on when I've got the opportunity to go to an ASP. I've got 4.7 million in the bank, so it's not like a financial issue. I can upgrade some of these players, but I do need to.
I don't hate my team at all. I said that to you a couple of weeks. There's a couple of things have happened. Like selling Rafinha was never part of the plan, but I think should he miss out Sunday, it's a good solution. I might end up buying him back on Sunday, and there's a very simple reason for that. Is I feel like I've been a little bit unlucky with a few differentials. Like Joel Matip's been doing really well for me. Obviously misses out on probably a 9-pointer, I would say, on Manchester United on Sunday. Don't know why he was left out. Don't know. Dan FPL Loco Lords on Clash of Correspondents tomorrow. I've asked him, I don't really know. Like Canate did all right. I think Matip will come back in, but don't know. If Canate plays again against Brighton, I'd be ruthless about that and get rid of him. Because he's someone who's going to get injured at some point anyway, I think. And the obvious one for me to go to on Sunday, ironically, in a round twist, would be Rafinha if he's in the team, and we will get to see it on Sunday because they're the 2 o'clock. Laporte, I've had double City, while most people have had kind of double treble ups Chelsea. I've had double City for a while, admittedly not Cancelo, who's the one who's really returning. But Laporte, Diaz, I've just been a bit unlucky with it. Dumb goal they conceded at the weekend. Diaz not playing the week before against whoever they played at fucking home, who suddenly it's escaped me for some reason.
Simple victory. I'll tell you
who did they play? That's really bothering me.
I'll tell you in a second.
I can't do anything in here with this shitty reception.
Burnley, 2-0.
Burnley, thank you, mate.
Should have been 5-0.
Easily forgettable, particularly for Sky. Burnley are very obviously easily forgettable. But I mean, I look at that back 4: Diaz, Rudiger, Matip, Laporte.
Fine.
And the plan with
goalkeeper Sarr, right? Still.
No, Martinez.
Oh yeah, you beat Martinez.
Martinez 16-pointer Friday was great, right? It was a little bonus. When Aubameyang went to take the penalty, I thought he's definitely saving this, you know.
Yeah.
I actually thought that. I've got cheap midfield, which I want to come back to as a conversation. Gray, Gallagher, and now I've got Mbuemo. And obviously I've got Havertz in there now. Now Havertz was a clear idea for me Saturday, with exact same money as Cancelo, who I don't have. The obvious sensible play was to go and buy Cancelo, but sometimes in this game you have to think away from the sensible, and it's probably going to cost me. But my plan with Havertz is to move to Cancelo when Manchester City host Everton the same Sunday that Tottenham host Leeds. So I've got 3.2 in the bank. Havertz to Cancelo's a 0. Antonio up to Kane is the exact 3.2. I obviously own Mo Salah. Like a dickhead, I didn't captain him on Sunday. I say like a dickhead in this game because it's just not worth fighting against with that ownership, and I should know that. But I was stuck in my ways of really believing that Antonio would do damage to Tottenham, and I guess partly he did.
We scored, didn't he? So it's better than nothing.
The 14 points, you think, it's part of course, kind of what I was expecting average from this. Does Salah go and outscore that? I don't know. Obviously, in hindsight, it's better. His ownership is so massive. I mean, like, debating captaincy for Saturday is not even there's no point us even talking about it. You just captain Mo Salah and that's the end of it. It is not the time to fight against. There will be times. I've been unlucky because the times where I have gone against this year, and there's a few times I've gone with where others have gone against, it's gone against me badly and he's gone off big. None more so than obviously the Sunday gone, which is disappointing. And it kind of leaves me thinking, I'm in a position where I'm already thinking, can I win it? Can I win it? And that's my only goal, is either first. I don't care if I finish second or... Well, actually, I do care.
Mate, second's fair amount of money, mate.
Right, you know what I mean. I don't really care if I finish 20th or 200th. Don't really make a difference to me.
Just got to go for it in this game.
Exactly. But unfortunately, at the moment, there's certain things like that you've just got to go with. The decision to buy Mbeumo, the big concern I had about it, and he's not a player I'm expecting big things from. He's 7.2. He's playing OOP. They've got a great set of fixtures. It's worth a little bit of a punt. The concern going there was Mbeumo, Gallagher, Gray. It's too cheap. When we spoke overhaul, we kind of looked at not being convinced about people below 7.8, bar maybe Gallagher, actually. And the problem with that is, obviously, once I've made the move for Harry Kane, I've got no money. Like, if Mbeumo gets injured or something, where am I going to go? I can't get back to Rafinha and stuff like that. But I think there are 3 really interesting players at a lower price than even Mbeumo.
So let's talk about them.
So there is escapes from them. So one is Oliver Skip.
Whoa, okay. It's an escape, I agree, but it's an escape into an even bigger hole.
Deeper hole, I agree.
You're escaping a small prison into a bigger prison, maybe just.
I agree.
But longer term, you can maybe then downgrade one of your big premiums.
But I think what I'm saying is, you're not dead at Mbeumo. If you've got that midfield like me, Mbeumo, Gallagher, Gray, look, I don't have high expectations for these players anyway. My expectations is on what the defenders and the forwards do. I am saying there are players beneath this level. There are 3 players who I think it's reasonable to go, fuck it, I'm going down now. One is Ollie Skip.
Okay.
It's 6.8 at Tottenham. And the reason it's acceptable at the moment is Tottenham have really changed stylistically since basically half-time against Arsenal. And Højbjerg and Skip are going into full-back areas and just passing the ball side to side.
Now, you're basically Italian 90 now.
Højbjerg will always outscore Skip. Ollie's capable of getting the odd tackle tier. It's not someone I'm recommending. I'm just saying there's an escape. More of interest, and this covers a captaincy possibly, Juraj Kucha of Watford. 6.5 and picked up tackle tier for the 5th time at the weekend. And that's from 9 games, and obviously scored at Everton from a set piece as well. He's won. You'd look at his points total. Was he got 35 points?
35 points in so far this season.
I mean, that's more. That's more than Mbeumo, for example.
Yeah.
And look,
he missed 1 game as well.
If you end up going with him, and he's the captain that gets you 4 points times 2 against Brentford on that shitty Friday night game, and it's 8 points for you, you'll be thankful for it.
Yeah, you're not 50% of the time he's picking up a tier.
You're not expecting anything at that value. And going with someone like him, and I'm not recommending these as buyers, by the way, I'm just saying there are escape routes. Going with him rather than defenders at similar value, he's not blocking you the defender spot.
No.
The midfield is a fucking crisis at the moment in terms of what's good in there. Unless you want to go and pay extras for Kai Havertz like we did, don't recommend it, or Phil Foden's, or push up for Bruno's and stuff. The mid price, kind of there are great defensive value at the moment in kind of 8 to 9 million range defenders. Matip if fit, Rudiger's 9 million, Christensen when he's available, Lewis Dunk obviously. Those players not really doing it in midfield area at the moment, including Rafinha. And the third player to highlight was even cheaper, 6.2, who you wouldn't expect anything more than a 2-pointer from every week, but does throw in the odd tackle/shot series. Another player that would cover that Friday night, and another Brentford player is Christian Norgard of 6.2, who's just ticking over. How many points Norgard got?
28.
You're not expecting anything from him, right? It's not a big deal. What I'm saying is there are escapes. There's times we've been here before where we've gone, don't go with kind of 7 million or so midfielders because it's awful to get away from. I'm saying there are 3 escapes below that, which are reasonable. And of course, you're not stuck and wed forever. It just means there's somewhere to go while you try and fix something else.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't actually outright go and buy them. I'm kind of saying that a midfield 3, in my opinion, right now, or something like Gray and Mbeumo if he's fit, Gallagher, is okay because there are players at a lower price who you can escape to. And my favourite from them, by the way, would be Kucha at Watford. It's just ticking over on the tackle tiers constantly.
50% tier points, so it's not bad.
With someone who's picking up tackle tiers, you're not bothered about the fixtures. You're not looking at it, and they have got a dog's run of fixtures, but you're not looking at it going, oh, he's not going to hit passing tiers. No, you're not expecting that anyway.
No.
The tackle tiers may well come in these difficult fixtures continued as well. So, I mean, tackle tier 5 from 9 is decent at 6.5 for a midfielder. So, I'd bet that was part of the reason for explaining why I felt it was okay to go to Mbeumo. Because the big one was, what if he gets injured? Obviously, like now he has. What's happened? But I think he'll be fit for the weekend. And if he misses Burnley, he's back for the week after. Fuck it. So be it.
What's your plans around longer term planning now then? You just kind of not.
As I said, my plan's to get Cancelo and Harry Kane the first Sunday after the international break. The plan was to go Martinez to David Raya the day after Villa play Southampton.
So it might be
I'm going to think about it.
Fernandes.
I'm going to think about it, yeah. But if he's cheap enough, I think, do you know what? Even if he's 6.4 by principle, I'll be like, no, fuck off. But if he's 6.3 or lower, I will think about it, yeah, because it opens up the longer term plan for me. Like I said, I don't think it's too much point going into it, but I was looking to make a couple of moves which would involve getting Adam Webster in the long term as well, that then opens up basically going Salah, Ronaldo and Kane and having all three for the December period. Because I know this is what's hurting me. Like the one game I go against, Salah will get hat-trick against Villa, Ronaldo will get hat-trick against Brighton. And it might be by the time it comes around at the moment, like United don't look interesting, right? There's no need to have a Manchester United player in your Sky team at the moment. But that time's going to come. And it might be it's Bruno instead of Ronaldo. I was looking, because I said to you last week about chances are Ronaldo's not going to play all those games. You're going to want two of them. So I'd worked out a strategy plan. I was going to have Ronaldo and Fernandes by the time sort of Boxing Day comes round. I don't know if there's any point now if the African nations is off. I'm not selling Salah if he's not going. And also it would make me think about Joel Matip, because part of my longer term strategy is if he's going to go and play for Cameroon, I'm obviously not keeping that forever either. I'll look elsewhere. So the only immediate ones for me is make a decision on goalkeeper is possibly the next one, subject to players getting injured. Yes, I'm going to go and buy Cancelo and Kane. It might be that they come earlier if Antonio, Havertz or Ruben Diaz, for example, get injured between now and then.
Captaincies this weekend before we look at some questions from our friends on
How long do you want to spend on Saturday's captaincy?
Salah. Sunday. I've got Rafinha or Antonio. You sold Rafinha. Does that mean you're defaulting to Mickey?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely go Antonio against what I'm seeing with Villa at the moment. Although I think they'll change system, as we said on Monday's podcast. I agree with you as well. I think they'll go to a back four. But they've always been a team that give up chances and stuff anyway. You went up there and beat them 3-1 last year. They're in a transitional period, I'd say, trying to kind of find what's right for them, fitting in the new signings. I would obviously have Emi Martinez as a fullback as well. So I mean, if something did happen to Antonio, suddenly the team, Sunday morning, there's a doubt. Martinez captain.
There's an argument for Rafinha away at Norwich.
Oh yeah, no, I think Rafinha is the best choice.
I'm going to go Antonio, even though I own Rafinha.
Yeah,
just with that injury-prone thing. I think that the last few games from West Ham point of view have been not that free-flowing and attacking, but the fact that this is an away game, I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on Villa to try and bring the game to us a little bit more than normal, and I think we'll be able to hit them on the count. I feel like we're going to have one of the games of maybe 4 or 5 matches ago where we were more counter-attacking.
The ownership top 1,000 of the two? I think I want to say Rafinha's about 60 and Antonio's...
Let me click into these.
Antonio's about 50%, I think.
In the top 1K, Antonio's only 43.8.
Yeah.
And Rafinha is at 52.6.
Okay, that's come down a little bit as well. Either way, it's going to hurt you, probably, whichever one you don't go for. I would go Rafinha of the two.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to be sticking with Antonio. On the Monday, I've got Marcao. You've got Damari Gray?
I got Damari Gray, and he's the only one that's monster owned. Damari Gray's about 50% owned, I think, top 1,000. And then basically all you've got is Marcel and Jose Sarr about 15, 20. Something like that. Yeah. Just before we do a little bit on Wolves and Everton, there are some interesting gets on Sunday, I think, from West Ham and Villa particularly. Obviously, for Villa's case, you cover you the Friday night at Captaincy against Southampton. Do not go into it with no one. You can be looking at it now and going, Danny Ings, Watkins, it doesn't appeal to me. It's worth getting. I'll give you an example. Let's say you've got Man City defender. Most people who got Ruben Diaz, right? Depending on system, probably depends how you move it around and stuff. But I would consider taking a gamble for the 3 games on just about any Villa player. You would miss United against Man City, which I know you're probably thinking meh, but Virgil van Dijk only just hit passing tier in that game at the weekend. Konate was nowhere near it. Admittedly, the fullbacks, because they were so advanced in the second half, the fullbacks hit passing tiers. But I would consider even that. Go to the three Villa games. You got West Ham at home, Southampton away, Brighton at home, and then you can move it back. Or if your Man City player, this is just an example, if your Man City player wasn't in the team on Sunday the 21st, then you could skip it another week. Then you've got Villa against Palace, and then you can go on to City when they play West Ham United on Sunday the 26th instead. So there are definite 3-for-1s in the immediate, and obviously if you're adding 1 or 2 captaincies in there, it's becoming effective 4 or 5, you should consider it. I cannot accept that anyone will go into Southampton Villa blank at this stage. You should buy a Villa player on Sunday. The options aren't great, but you should still fucking buy one. Martinez is the one really from Villa, is the obvious choice.
And what about West Ham? Is there interesting gains on them or not so much with the Sunday fixtures?
Well, there are some that you can obviously skip. So there is escape, should I say, with West Ham. So again, you could go, obviously, if you haven't got Antonio, for example, is the obvious one. Perhaps you might have midfield options, Ben Rama, for example.
Yep.
You can have the 3 games. The problem with West Ham's 3 games as opposed to Villa is
Liverpool in there.
Liverpool's 1. So with Villa, you're getting the second kind of with the captaincy against Southampton. West Ham, you're not going to have that. Liverpool at home. On Wolves away, you wouldn't captain either. Then there are move-ons. Obviously, it's after that Wolves game I'm looking to move Antonio to Harry Kane. I think that's one where that Sunday, the 21st, you're going to get a lot of system switches to 5-3-2 on that day, which means I think people are going to end up with sort of double cities defensively and stuff. I can see that.
Yep.
Everton, sorry.
Wolves, Everton. Well, we've got some questions on Twitter and what have you around that. And FPL Park in the Bus says, is Wolves Everton a skip if you don't have coverage?
I'm clear in my mind, and I've been clear in my mind about this for weeks, that if you are going to buy it on the day, you buy a Wolves player, not an Everton. The problem with Everton is there is no escape. You got Tottenham away is a Sunday, Man City away is a Sunday. These ain't great fixtures. Brentford away is a Sunday. Liverpool at home is a Wednesday. That's the first escape really to your next one. And all you've got the choice of is Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal, Brentford the next day. So unless you're looking at perhaps Damari Gray to Smith Rowe, for example, which actually I am looking at that Thursday the 2nd as a move, which might seem ridiculous because Everton then have the Monday night fixture against Arsenal, but then I'd probably prefer to have the Arsenal player through Christmas rather than Everton, so I might actually twist it then on Thursday the 2nd. That's the first escape. So I've got Gray, he's sitting there, and I'm not looking to move him on until then, Thursday the 2nd. If you don't move him on then it's obviously the Monday night you keep because of the captaincy. And then beyond that, there's not great escapes either. They play Palace Sunday the 12th, Chelsea Thursday the 16th. Leicester's currently scheduled the Monday the 20th. Admittedly, it does cover another captaincy, but I think you get the idea by now. There is no escape from Everton players. So if you get someone in that you don't like, there's a chance they're going to sit there for you for ages. So I'm very clear on Wolves because with them, it's the complete opposite. You could have the Everton game the Monday night, Crystal Palace the 2 games, have a 3-for-0 and bin it straight away. The week after, West Ham's a Saturday, Norwich is a Saturday, Burnley's a Wednesday, Liverpool's a Saturday. Every week you can escape the Wolves player. So whatever you get in, you don't like it, you can get rid of it pretty much straight away. So think from the attacking players, I think Hwang would be the most interesting. I don't like that personally. He's 7.8. He's doing okay. I'd constantly be looking over my shoulder in terms of his minutes, but short term, I mean, the fixtures I said they're good as well, right? Palace, West Ham.
So why he keeps scoring,
Palace, West Ham, Norwich, Burnley. I think if he's in the team Monday night, he'll be quite popular as a choice. Obviously, half the game owns Damari Gray, and he's not going to go elsewhere for the captaincy. I think, where would you go, Suj, if you were buying from new for the game? You had to buy someone. Where are you going?
Wolves.
Yeah.
I don't like Joseph Sarr. I prefer there's plenty of other better keepers longer term. I think I'd end up attacking with Wolves and Hwang if he's in the team. The more I think about it, I think so. Because, for example, he's the same price as St. Maximin, give or take, for me. So I can easily move there. Same price as Ben Rama and what have you. He keeps scoring. I feel like the more I see him continuously scoring, the more it's his shirt to hold on to. So I thinking about, I don't really want any of their defenders. There's no real tier points in it. Mark Hauser just annoying me. Midfield wise, Podence or any of these guys not interested. So Hwang, he's a midfielder, isn't he?
So I've been thinking this and going, what do I do come Monday if suddenly Damari Gray's not in the team?
Gray to Hwang?
No, I mean that would probably be the obvious one at same value and stuff, and it holds it. There's two moves I'd be considering. One is ironically possibly holding Gray, depending on, like, if he's a sub, I'd possibly leave it. The one I was looking at as an alternative is Antonio to Kilman.
Okay.
Which obviously moves a lot of the money. That could then probably do me Havertz to Kane, for example. It means I'm still going without Cancelo, but it's another way round possibly. He's only 6.2, and that's going to sit there long term, I think, if you go down to that value as a defender. I really think you're shaping yourself 5 at the back, which is the way most of us want to go. I think the transition between 5-3-2 and 4-3-3 is where people are probably looking. So if you need to thump from a Diaz to Heung-min Son or something, you can kind of jump that and just avoid the midfield area. I think Kilman at 6.2 is capable of passing tiers. Everton have conceded a shitload of passing tiers in their away games so far this season as well. And although Wolves don't pick them up much, I think there's a possibility there that he could have some. I mean, it's Moutinho, Neves and him are the ones who've had the passing tiers. He's the one I'd go to defensively. I think he's a lock in there at the moment. He's staying in the team. He's cheap as it wouldn't move for long term and just go. You're not expecting high things at 6.2 anyway. I mean, I'm talking about passing tiers. If he could get you the clean sheet and get you 14 points with the captaincy, you'd be laughing your head off at that. That's where I'd go if I had to buy new. Is Max Kilman of Wolves. Everton don't interest me because of the escapes. It's shite, mate.
We have Paul Dolan. He wants to know what to do with Aubameyang.
This is going to be every week, isn't it, with Aubameyang?
He's got him in, obviously, so when does he escape him?
Well, the problem is the fixture next Sunday. Watford at home looks massively appealing. And then, as we've said before, 2 weeks after that, it's Newcastle at home also looks appealing.
I would be trying to stick with for now.
Andy asked us last week, didn't he? Let's talk kind of what's that. So I think it's either now. So I think Aubameyang is a reasonable one where you could look at, say, Watkins or Ings. I think actually, ironically, I said Watkins last week. I'd probably be Danny Ings now because I think Watkins might go and play wide. But you could look at that. Aubameyang to Danny Ings on Sunday. You've got the West Ham game. Captaincy at his old club, Southampton, Friday night. It's written in the stars, isn't it? And then you can move that on. You could even go back to Aubameyang, ironically, for Arsenal's 3 games. You'd only miss... you'd miss 2 Villa games. But you could chain it to then move that on to a Spurs player or others beyond that. Sunday the 28th.
Phantom Mantle Gary, is Trent about to embark on a run of hauls, and should we be trying to get him in if we don't have him? Trent's that player that's always, looking at you saying, "Why haven't you got me in your team?" He's been hauling all season. Hauling being he's returning all season consistently.
Yeah.
Liverpool on fire. He's playing so far forward. He looks in the mood.
João Cancelo at 1 point less or whatever. Yeah. So I'm in mind to end up with Rudiger, Laporte, Cancelo, Webster.
And no fifth defender.
Matip he's on the chopping block, isn't he? I'm aware. Well, I've in my plan I've had Matip going because of the African nations, but right. I guess that might change. In terms of Webster, that's why I mentioned Kilman, right? You could go Kilman for the good fixtures. There's no good entry points to Brighton. Move that on to Webster, although you could, if you have a Southampton or Villa player, move that to Webster next Saturday, actually, when Brighton play Newcastle after Southampton Villa. Original question was about Trent. I think, like Diaz, I wouldn't say he's on chopping block for me, and I'm not fretting to get rid of him, but he's not really worth the money at the moment. I wouldn't buy Ruben Diaz as new at the moment. And Trent, Van Dijk, Robertson, I don't feel it's worth it at the moment. There's so many good. You got Cancelo's 9.5, Laporte's 9.1, Rudiger's 9, Webster's 7. In between, you've got like your Matips, your Dunks. So many good cheaper options. And Lewis Dunk passing tier against Man City. Again, the only other player that hit it, I think, did Cancelo hit it? 60?
Might have done.
You know the third most passes in that game?
No.
Bit of trivia for you. Brighton, Man City. Dunk.
Edison.
Nah, you're close though.
Sanchez.
Yeah. most passes ever by a goalkeeper in a Premier League game, 58.
Wow.
2 points off, 2 passes off the passing tier.
That would have made my week from shit to
Oh,
shite.
you've got him in goal.
Yeah, it would have gone from shit to shite.
That would have made your weekend, mate.
Talking about goalkeepers, Chris, FPL addict, Sky addict. Do you see Mendy beating Martinez's points from last year? Currently, his points are higher than the top scoring midfielder, the second top defender. He's equal with the top forward. Should we be looking at him ASAP?
It's part of why I'm going, 7.8, 7.3 and 7.2 in midfield. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and it's something I'm going to have a look at if I'm not moving to the Brentford's second choice keeper and stuff. Yeah, those with Mendy are not going anywhere. And the only way they would have been is, again, African nations. Yeah. Which that problem might be getting taken away.
Yeah. We've got a repeat question from a while ago, and it's a fair for it's in your dreams. At Darren Phillips wants
questions
to know,
in my dreams.
His Twitter handle says, any 6.8 or below keepers you would recommend? Sanchez not bad.
The Brentford one.
Yeah. I'll probably need the budget to get back Ronaldo or Kane at some point. So you think when Fernandes is announced in the game, potentially?
The Brentford one potentially works for myself because of Martinez. I mean, ironically, Sanchez covers off a bit of the... I would rather have Dunk or Webster than Sanchez, personally. But it could be that I rework in my plan and look at it and go, okay, there isn't a good entry point to Brighton. I can have Martinez for the captaincy against Southampton, move it to Sanchez, Brighton v Newcastle. But then I think if I do that, I'm moving it because of the money.
Right.
It's not because I don't really want to get rid of Martinez. Like I said, it's up to Mendy or all the way down. It's about money and future planning that I might look at that as a move. I mean, if Martinez ends up sitting for weeks, I haven't got a problem with that.
No. And the question that's a repeat question, James, is have either of you changed your mind on Declan Rice as an enabler?
No.
I asked a couple of weeks ago. He's not explosive, but he has returned in 7 of 9 games.
Yeah. It's 8 tackles against Tottenham on Sunday. It was very good. It was the outstanding player on the pitch for me. Brilliant. And of course,
Zuma was...
Actually, in Zuma, Rice got the man of the match in Sky.
Did he?
Yeah.
Because in the stadium, obviously, Zuma got announced as man of the match.
Yes, that's right. It could have been toss a coin between the two, actually.
I agree with you. I think either deserved it.
So, yeah, look, he's ticking across nicely and stuff. But as we said previously, are you Ben Rama and... You're not. I would still go to Ben Rama. I wouldn't think twice about it.
I would as well. But it's not a bad question to ask. It's not like one of those...
What price is he?
He's cheaper than them all, but he scored less points than them.
So that's 7.4 or something, I want to say, Rice.
It's not cheaper enough to justify.
Yeah, exactly that. If Ben Rama was 8.5 or something, I think maybe, we'd possibly be having a conversation. But I feel like there's 0.4 between them maybe or so.
Yeah. Dan Chancer wants to know, outside of covering captains, is there any value in doing nothing proactive until the Christmas TV schedule kicks in?
It's probably the next real swing we're looking at. Is obviously the Manchester United swing and stuff, and particularly Manchester United because of Sky, because of all those single game days at the end. But everyone's going to cover it off. Like, if Ronaldo is firing going into that period, no one's not going to have him. And I guess it's the breakup then that the people then work out an idea that they're going to go without Salah for a little bit. The hop on, hop off 3-for-1s I suggested. Do you just go Salah and Ronaldo up front, which means missing out on potentially a couple of good Harry Kane captaincies as well. So that's probably the next real break. I feel like I'm finding it difficult to make ground at the moment, and the small decisions that I'm making, I'm missing out on. But it can go the other way, right? Like suddenly, I'm sitting there this weekend with double Man City defence. They might both play. Cancelo gets rested. One of them gets 10 points. One of them gets 15 points or something. Then I'm 25 points up all of a sudden, and it's a different game.
Two questions that I'm going to link together, if you don't mind, sir, is ultra close, Darren. I went Rafinha to Mbeumo on Sunday, as did James, in anticipation that he was injured. Would you reverse that move this week if Mbeumo is out and Rafinha starts? He's got captaincy coverage as he's bringing in Martinez this week as well. And Right Bear Steve says, if Rafinha is playing on Sunday, is he worth bringing in for Benrahma in my first team and Smith Rowe in my second? Second team has Antonio captain currently anyway.
We ain't selling Benrahma on Sunday.
No, I think if you haven't got Rafinha and you've got Benrahma, I'd even just stick the armband on Benrahma.
Just simple logic. Can Benrahma outscore Rafinha on Sunday? Yes. Yeah. Will he? Probably not. But can he? You don't make that move in this game. He likes a shot, does
Benrahma as well.
Exactly that.
From outside the box. So
Martinez likes to save, by the way.
I wouldn't go with that move. But what about reversing Mbeumo to Rafinha?
No, that's not on the table. I mean, look, that's difficult because I'm obviously slanted in my bias because of my own plan going forward now. That means I'm sticking it out with Mbeumo. And am I bothered that Mbeumo misses Burnley away when actually I think Burnley could keep a clean sheet at the weekend anyway? No, I'm not bothered. The decision to sell Rafinha it wasn't a panic choice as in, oh my God, what if he's out? Because I obviously factored in what happens if he's back next week. I still want him. But I also looked at it and went, well, if he doesn't, the gain is definitely now and I'm shoving this money. And the irony is, like I said, the fact that I shoved that money has still opened me up the possibility to get to Kane when I feel I need him. Because of Raya's injury. So It's covered it in the same way. And part of the strategy thinking was, obviously didn't know Raya was going to get injured, but okay, this might allow me to keep Martinez or move the money slightly up to Mendy instead, rather than committing to the Raya transfer. So no, I wouldn't be moving it back. The only way I could see me buying him, like I said, it's possible if Joel Matip's not in the team on Saturday and then Rafinha is on Sunday, I might make that move, Matip to Rafinha.
Yeah. Money Mace FPL, should we just save all our remaining transfers to deal with injuries? I can't find a single week without at least one injury or suspension. It does feel this year's been tough. The
last couple of weeks. Well, to be honest, I was saying a few weeks ago that I felt like we all got battered the start of last season, but this season hadn't been as bad. But the last couple of weeks does feel like it's been catching up a little bit on people, and I don't feel like anybody's escaped injuries completely. What this game needs next is, like, with respect, Mo Salah out for a month or something like that.
Just to split it up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, all the fantasy formats probably need that at the moment, in fairness. It's difficult. It's difficult. That's why you don't want to plan in too many transfers in your mind. Like, you don't want to be having your plan 12 to 14 transfers before Christmas, because you might end up making 12 to 14 anyway, because 5 or 6 become necessities on top of your 8 transfer plan, for example.
FPL Hambone has got 3 questions.
Read 8.
Quick fire. And to be fair, they're the last questions of the show because we've answered all the others. So, with Raya out, is Mbeumo the obvious Brentford option for the single game day, himself injury permitting? All eyes are on the backup keeper, he also says. So, a bit of both.
It's Fernandes, isn't it? We can agree on that.
Fernandes.
What was his first name?
I've forgotten now.
Alejandro.
Yeah, like that.
It's not, though, is it?
No.
Fernandes might. I mean, there's different options at Brentford. Fernandes subject to price. Ethan Pinnock, 6.4, who has been injured, and you're not buying this week, but there's another entry point coming up. Unless you're moving from Southampton or Villa on Saturday, I guess. There's another entry point coming up when they play Everton on a Sunday in a couple of weeks. You got Norgard if you want to come right down as a cheaper option, and Mbeumo. Tony is an option, I think, and he's probably the best option. He did hit shots here against Leicester at the weekend, which I think is only the second time he's hit it. But a cold light of day, Ivan Tony, 7.9, that's probably the best shout. The problem is it blocks you the forward spots, right? But if you're working on a plan that's going to be, say, for example, Salah, Kane, Tony, and you're going to hop between Salah, Ronaldo over December or something, Tony could sit there for you for 5-6 games or so to have got a good run. So I think Tony's the best choice, but it blocks you the forward spot, and therefore Mbeumo becomes a default, and that's why I've gone that way. The best choice might be Fernandes, and that's ridiculous to say because I don't even know what fucking price he is.
Just for your benefit in the future, James, to remember Fernandez's first name. You just have to think that he shares it with a fantasy legend from years gone by, Alvaro Morata.
Oh, so it's Alvaro Fernandez. That doesn't
Next
bode
time
well,
you think
does
about
it?
the goalkeeper, just think about Morata, lol, and you'll remember his first name. And Tielemans, time to shoehorn Tielemans in our midfield. The guy is beasting it. Honestly, he's top midfield point scorer.
Yeah.
I love Tielemans because of his all-round ability to. In the same way Ward-Prowse last year, for example, it's a bit of tackle tier, a bit of passing tier, a bit of shot tier, goals, assists. It's a little bit of everything. At a reasonable price between 8 and 9 million. So, yeah, I'm all for Tielemans.
Yep, no issue with that. There's a good entry point coming up when they play Leeds on Sunday the 7th. They also play Watford later on, Sunday the 28th. So there's entries into Tielemans, which is definitely a fallback option for me because I've got players at, like, for example, Joel Matip's value. Even you could say from Laporte value, say Laporte got injured. I could always look at him as an option. My concern is, like I said, there are so many good defenders at a similar value to him. At the moment, he looks the outstanding midfielder in the game. If you own him, you're clearly not selling. This might be one to come back and revisit as a conversation next week. I think, again, you're only buying him now if you're covering up for an injury. I don't think you're moving Ben White to Tielemans or anything like that. No. I don't think that's on the table at the moment. So I think it's probably more of a conversation with Tielemans for next week.
The last question, actually, James, from FPL discussion is not player related, so I left it to the end. What new tier points would you like to see in SkyFF? Would you like them to introduce another tiering?
Nah, not particularly. It's more I'd want consistency. I don't want joint man of the matches and things like that.
Yeah.
With respect. More consistency with that or bin it. No, I think the way the tiering works is fine. When we first started, we kept having experienced heads would say to us and be like, you don't want to add anything else, don't change the game. And to be honest, I think I'm of that opinion now as well. So now the game's fine as it is. The interesting one, I think, for this particular format, just to throw one out there, might be dribbles. Mm-hmm. Completed successful dribbles. You'd probably have to set the bar fairly high. But then you'd have to make people like Traore really fucking expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
But I wouldn't change it.
No. There we go. Another episode in the can. Hope you've enjoyed Planet SkyFF this week. We'll be back at you tomorrow with Clash of the Correspondents. You've got Liverpool and Brighton, Loco, Lord and Sam. I bet both are in very good spirits generally about how things are going at their clubs. Yeah,
I mean, Brighton have had a very good start to the season. We obviously talk about I suppose there'll be some listeners with Duffy and stuff. He could get back in, but Sam's not of the opinion particularly that he is. I think it's worth a listen. As I said already, I do ask Dan on that podcast about Matip, and I think he comes back in, but I'm not particularly sure. There's nothing in there about Mo Salah that you don't already know. It's more of a discussion about other lesser-known names.
So do stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen.
Let's say less fashionable rather than lesser known.
Indeed.
Jordan Henderson had nearly 130 passes at Old Trafford Sunday.
Good. That's very.
I think that's the most in a game for any player this season. I think.
Wow, fantastic! And of course, all of our Patreon content. You can find more about that at patreon.com/Planet FPL and help support the show. Join our Slack channel, get access to James's Sky planning spreadsheets and a few other bits and pieces as well. Lovely to have you joining us. Hope you enjoyed listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay safe. Ciao for now.
Thanks everyone. Good luck this week. Cue music, please, man child.